Welcome back. You know, I'm anxious to find out what happened out on the road while you guys were on the bus, because this group has come back with more energy than I've seen in a very long time. Which tells me one of two things. Either Regan did not work you guys nearly hard enough, or you guys laid off the carbs at the buffet. Which is it? Okay, you were napping on the bus. All right. That's fair. If you guys would please open your books. Open your books to page 71.
We don't have any numbers.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You don't have numbers on every page. Page 71. Yeah, that's correct. 71 is a blank page that looks very much like this. So if you cannot identify 71, just look for something that looks like this. Okay? All right, at the top of the page, please, I want you to write today's date. It is January 16th. Can you believe we're only 16 days into this year? It's insane, isn't it? It feels like March. Feels like March. And a quick reminder, does anybody know what à brute means? No. À brute. It says, beware Brutus. The Ides of March are upon us. Okay? Now, it's important for you to remember that, because you want to make sure that on March 15th or there before, you email or purchase and send me a book for my birthday. Which book? That is a great question. One that you think I would enjoy. Yeah, March 15th. Okay, on top of your page there, January 16th, put a number 1 in the top left column. Skip 3 lines, put a number 2. Skip 3 lines, put a number 3. You did this morning. Yeah. I want to know what stuck out at you on the bus tour. Okay? Strategy, conversation, what to look for, what made you think. 3 things. Welcome back, Charles. Are you raising your hand to participate, Dave?
I'm at what page are we on?
Page 71. Page 71. It's a blank piece of paper. Thank you. It's a blank piece of paper. Did you find it, Dave? Okay. All right, please take a moment and write down 3 things. Did you guys know that you will only retain 10% of what you've learned here this weekend? You write it down, it doubles to 20%. So the 3 things. Now, I know that some of you in the room have been investing in real estate for quite some time, so these things might be to you kind of, oh, I forgot, and it was a good reminder, or I knew that that was important, but I didn't realize the implications of. Please avoid using one of your 3 bullets as critique for the restaurant, the bus driver, or the accommodations. I've been doing this a while, guys. And when you have all 3, please look up at me and smile. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. That's a pretty smile. I like them pearly whites. Camille, that's a lovely shirt.
This is the newest edition, PME. Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
This is the newest edition of the PME women's version of our polo shirt.
Lovely. This is Camille. Camille is wearing Lee Arnold. Pop, pop. Yes, a Lee Arnold original. Lovely, just lovely. Thank you, Camille. By the way, the PME logo came to us from 99 Designs. Does anybody use that? Okay. Two of them, 99 Designs and Hatchwise. Okay. If you guys need any logo creation, you need any clip art, you need any website stuff, you basically put projects out to bid. So on 99 Designs, you can pay as little as 99 bucks, and artists all over the world will submit their design concepts. And whichever one you pick, that's the one you pay. So it's much better than going direct to a single artist where you get one concept, one design style. Here you can literally get 20 or hundreds of them. And we've been using that for 7 years to design all of our logos and all of our workbooks and everything. So great tools, 99 Design and Hatchwise. H-A-T-C-H, Hatchwise, W-I-S-E, Hatchwise. Okay, who's got 3? All right, Tabitha. Caleb, can you hit Tabitha with a mic? She's in the lovely striped shirt. And you're taking the Raj route. Interesting.
Thank you. We talked about the cash flow, the cash now and the cash later. I knew about it, but putting it in that perspective was pretty great.
Cash flow.
Cash now, cash flow, cash later. The 3 C's.
Okay.
And how they balance each other out. And
Okay, good.
so
I like that. If you guys, now, the reason we go around now, I want you to write down the ones you didn't have but want to remember. So cash flow, cash now, cash later. Good. Thanks, Tabitha. Do you have the microphone? Where's the microphone? Give it to Sheila. One thing, Sheila. You want to grab somebody over here, Camille? Just stick it in their face.
What we look for in looking at the homes. How much is it worth? After repair value and the purchase price. 3 things we need to have when we call to get the money, the investment.
Are?
What's it worth? What I got about what we're purchasing in it, the purchase price and ARV.
Okay, let me change that. It's not what we're purchasing for, it's what we can get it for. Okay? When you say what are we purchasing it for, you could base that off of the asking price. And do we ever pay the asking price? No. Sometimes. Sometimes. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys tomorrow. You're going to be with me a lot tomorrow, so be prepared for that. There are instances where properties are listed by smart realtors who price the property accordingly. So when you come in with your magic formulas of 65% off the list price, you immediately underprice yourself and you got no shot of winning. There are times that I have offered more than asking price. So we never base it off the asking price, we base it on the after repaired value. Then we run our numbers based on that. And if we can make money for their asking price or even offering them more, do it. Because if you try to undercut everything, you're never going to get a deal. And you can't make money on deals you don't have. Okay? Who you got, Camille?
I have Craig today.
Craig. Blast us with your wisdom.
What am I supposed to be doing?
One thing. What'd you pick up today?
Trying to think of what other people haven't mentioned yet.
Just read something from your notes.
Read something from my notes here.
Craig learned nothing today on the bus.
No, the rule of the 1%.
Okay.
Rent.
Nasheed, was that yours? Okay. So, Craig, tell me how the rule of 1% works.
The monthly rent is equal to 1% of the sales price.
To do what?
For rentals.
To break even.
To break even, yeah.
Okay? That's important. So if the property is, if the asking price is $100,000, what is your cost of ownership monthly? $1,000. And if the rents are $1,000 a month, are you making any money?
No.
No. Okay? So the rule of 1% is a quick calculation method to know what to offer when you're put on the spot. And this only applies to rental property. This does not apply to fix and flip. So it's just there to help you calculate quickly. Now, for me, I don't like to own rentals if I'm not making at least $200 a unit. So using the rule of 1%, what would my MAO, or my max allowable offer, be if the asking price is $100,000 and it rents for $1,000? Who said 80,000? Good. Excellent job. Okay. So if I need $200 a month, I got to offer 80,000 because 1% of 80,000 is 800. That's my cost of ownership. Rents are 1,000. So I keep $200 surplus. Does that make sense? Okay. So if it's a 12-unit apartment building, how much marginal spread do I need monthly? $2,400. Okay. So if the asking price is $240,000, what is my max allowable offer? It'd be 0. Because I couldn't buy the property at $240 if it's only bringing in rents of $2,400. So what are they renting it for? What's the asking price? But the point here is, guys, we need $200 a unit. So put that in your notes. How many of you own rental property? All right, keep your hand up if you own more than one. Keep your hand up. If you own more than 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50? 30? Okay. Here's the other thing you need to know. Your profit goes up the more volume you buy. Your profit goes up the more volume you buy. And then somewhere next to that note, I want you to write the term economies of scale. Okay? Economies of scale say that the more you own of a certain property or product type, the less it's going to cost you to own and operate, because now you're spreading out your hard costs amongst a multitude of properties, not just one or two. The riskiest thing you can do in real estate is buy one or two, or own one or two. Your risk goes down exceedingly when you have multiple properties, because now your income will offset the operational cost, hiring an assistant, hiring a full-time contractor, laborer, property management or maintenance person, which is why people like to buy apartment buildings, because you got 300 units all in one spot. I personally am not a fan of apartment buildings, because birds of a feather flock together. And if you get one bad tenant, they're going to attract 10 others. So I'm not a fan of them personally unless they're relatively new. But right now, all of your hedge funds on Wall Street are snatching those up, as are your REITs. So better to find raw land, develop it, have the blueprints drawn, and then sell it pre-construction. That's where you're going to make a lot more money. But that's just my opinion. Okay, what else did you learn? Yes, I can't see your name tag. Anthony.
Yeah, hi. My name is Anthony Williams, and today I learned why hard money is 60. We use the 65% rule, because the other 35% are spread amongst several different things.
Such as?
Transfer costs can be anywhere from 4 to 11%. Holding cost, the cost of money is 9%.
Okay.
So if we use 11 and 9, that's 20.
Okay.
Then we're talking about buyer's concessions, and we'll take 5%. So that's 25%. We're looking for another 10. Title, fees, buyer's agent. How much do I have now? 35? And profit 10%. Okay.
Okay. Good. You've taken that in an interesting direction, Anthony, because I will tell you why we only do 65%. It's so that if you don't pay us back and we have to foreclose, we've got enough margin that we can cover whatever operational costs we will incur as the lender. But that's an interesting statement. Because what you're saying is you should never buy the property for more than 65% because you've got all these costs and fees associated with ownership, renovation, repair, and sale, right?
Right.
Then you got to include in there your taxes upon sale. So there's another cost that you need to calculate. You will hear me use the term net a lot. What's your profit? And you'll say, well, it's this. No. What's your net profit? Well, it's this, and this. Okay, what is it post-tax? Well, I didn't think about tax. Guys, tax is one of the highest expenses you have in flipping real estate. Because if you're in a certain asset class, you're at 35% on your gain. That's a big tax. Sure. You think hard money is expensive. Look at the cost of taxes. Wow. That's why I'm such a big proponent of Roth IRA investing and investing in environments where there is no tax. So in real estate, as in business, it's not always about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. But for those of you that like to pay tax, I appreciate the nice smooth roads that your tax dollars provide. Thank you. Nasheed.
When you say,
Wait, microphone, Nasheed.
so when you say 35% of gain, that's after depreciation?
Well, if you're flipping it, you wouldn't depreciate it
Okay.
because you're going to have a just one-time
Okay,
gain.
so just the profit. Okay.
Yeah, your depreciation happens on properties owned and held. And I should advise that I'm not a CPA or a financial advisor, therefore I'm merely giving you my opinion. Yes?
Yes, I actually learned the importance of locking up a deal, even if you think you're not going to eventually buy it.
Yeah,
Just
I heard
lock
you
it
guys
up.
going snaked on you on the way out there, right?
Yeah.
2 of them. Yeah, you cannot steal in slow motion. You got to move fast. Good. And what's your name? I can't see your name tag. Yeah, you. Sean. Sean, I will tell you that I don't advise you ever go out and look at property that you don't have under contract. And I'm sure Regan mentioned that. If I don't have it under contract, I don't get in my car. The most expensive use of my time is driving. Seriously, because in most states you can't even be on the phone anymore. If I want to take notes, I can't write anything down. I don't want to get in the car. So if you want to meet with me, you're going to come to my office. And I will not go out and inspect property until I have it under contract at terms that I'm agreeable with. Only then do I go out and see it. So that'll save you a ton of time. Now some of you are thinking, well, Lee, why did we get on the bus today? Because you got to know what you're looking for and what you're looking at before you're going to be confident writing offers on property sight unseen. Is anybody currently doing that? Writing offers on property sight unseen? Okay, that should be a goal for where you eventually want to go. Because if you've got to drive out and physically see them every time, you're limiting the bandwidth of time that you have available. And I want to maximize time because it's so precious to me. Good. Camille, who you got? Roland.
Roland. Yeah, the existence of New Western acquisitions and their process, how they do what they do, and the value that they bring to the table for us, because they're basically a good, they're out there finding deals that we can even work with.
Okay, now they were the wholesaler, correct? Yeah. All right, so give Roland the mic back. Roland, do you have such a wholesaler in your market?
Do I know of one?
Yeah.
No, but I'm sure there's hundreds of them out there.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you want to be the wholesaler or the investor buying from the wholesaler?
Sometimes both.
Okay, I would add this, always wholesale. See, my rules for property acquisition are wholesale first. If I can't flip it quickly, I'm going to fix it and retail it. If I can't retail it quickly, I'm going to sell it and carry financing because I can sell the paper, and the sale of the paper will become my liquidity event. If I can't sell the paper, I'm going to do a lease with an option to buy. My 5th least favorite option is I would rent the place out. I always want to wholesale first. Wholesale is the fastest money. It's the highest ROI because you're making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on an assignment fee with a property you tied up with $100. Hopefully out of your self-directed Roth, because all gain then goes in tax-free. So what's your return on investment if you invest $100 cash, make $15,000 in return, and don't pay any tax on it? It's pretty good. So I just got an email today from one of my clients in my inner circle. He put a house under contract in California for $70, wholesale at $85, and he only put $100 down. He won't even touch the property. Rehabbing is an incredibly expensive business plan. It's very expensive. So you guys should be the wholesaler as often as you can be. The reason most of you aren't is you don't know where to find the really good deals, right? Okay? That's what I'm going to show you. 5 things: wholesale, fix and retail, sell and carry paper. Okay, so I'm seller financing. I'm going to carry the note. So Ebby, if you're going to buy my $100,000 house, I'm going to get $20,000 down from you, and I'm going to write a mortgage for $80,000 for 30 years with a 5 or 10-year balloon. Okay? You're going to send me a check each and every month, but you own it. If the toilet breaks, you don't call me, because I to you am Bank of America. I'm your lender. I always want to transfer the liability of ownership to the individual as often as I can, which is why I prefer paper. Also, I can sell paper. I can't sell lease option contracts, okay? Because there's no defining legal agreement that says if you don't pay, I have options. So I much prefer seller financing because my liquidity event is in the sale of the paper. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 4 was lease with an option to buy. The reason that's my number 4 option is because people who want to do a lease with an option to buy are property ownership mentally minded. They are typically homeowners that lost their home in foreclosure, had a horrendous thing happen in life, lost their house, but they think like a homeowner. So they fix the roof, they paint the thing, they shovel the walks, they take care of it. 5th and least desirable is tenants. I hate tenants with a passion. They have no investment. What, $500 deposit first and last? Oh, and if you want to come after me, I work at 7-Eleven, so good luck garnishing those wages. I don't like tenants. And if you are one, that's okay, but we need to get you out of there. You need to be a property owner. Who you got, Caleb? Rashid?
Yes.
Go.
Lee, I'm learning from you that you don't like apartments.
Nope.
And I'm just wondering how that fits into what Coco Capital or secured investments do in terms of lending out, in terms of possibly the buyers they may have for multifamily.
Okay.
Yeah, so just...
All right, good question. I'm glad you brought that up because I am right now giving you my personal opinion on what I want in my own portfolio to own. I would love for you to buy an apartment and I'll lend you money all day, every day. Because I'm not responsible for collecting rents and screening and first and last and turning units and repainting and new tile and new appliances. I don't want to deal with it. I've kind of turned into a paper snob. Right? Do you guys know what that means? Okay, I have people that owe me millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they send me a check every month. And they don't call me when something breaks. They don't call me when the taxes are due. They don't call me when the insurance is up. They just send me a check every month. And it's a very nice place to be. It used to be when I owned 85 rentals, because that was the most I ever owned. I owned 85 rental properties. I didn't get a weekend. I got breaks between calls. That's what I got. Now, you can certainly set up your business more logically than I did. I was managing 85 units with me and my team. Some of you can get property managers. However, property managers are going to take 10% of your rent. So will it cash flow if you bring those people in? I'm always shocked when people own like 10 and 15 units. Because if you look at 10% of that, how close are you to being able to afford a full-time assistant? And that's really where you should be moving, is to get people on your team working for you. If you are an independent sole entrepreneur right now sitting in this room, who's working on your business? Nobody. So your business is stalled completely. So have you stopped and asked yourself what it's costing you to be here? Not just in fees to attend, hotel costs, travel costs. What are your opportunity costs in being here? That's the significant expense. And I can tell you I'm here and I got 48 people back at the corporate office that are continuing to churn out volume and make money. You guys have got to get to a place where your business is not just you. Because sadly, if you are the business, you don't own a company, you own a job. And is that really what you set out to accomplish? Probably not. Okay? So, any more? One more. Denise.
Hi.
Wow us.
Okay. Well, as you know, we did miss out on a couple of properties while we were out today.
Yep.
So one thing that I learned was how to ballpark my rehab costs so that I can get those offers made quickly.
Good.
To tie up those properties.
Good. Okay, so how do you ballpark rehab costs?
Okay, for example, well, for all of them, I'm looking at the square footage of the property.
Okay.
And so for a small rehab, I'm looking at approximately $12 per
Per
square
foot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. For a medium rehab, $15, and for a high-end rehab, approximately 20 or above.
24 and above?
20 and above.
20 and above. All right. So 1,000 square feet is going to run you what?
You asking me to do math. I need
Yeah.
a calculator.
Yeah, real estate is math.
Yes. Hold on.
The good news is if I can give you any reprieve at all, Denise, I failed
Yes.
pre-algebra 4 times.
Oh.
Now I manage hedge funds, so that's weird.
Wow. Okay. So I'm sorry. Ask your question again.
What is the cost of a 1,000 square foot home at $20 a foot?
$20,000?
20,000. Just add the zeros.
Yeah.
3 and 1.
That's good. Thank
20,000.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. See, nobody could tell me why X needed to be isolated on the other side. So it wasn't logical to me. Now, if they would have told me, if you can get X by yourself, I'll give you 20 grand, I probably would have figured it out. That's the problem with education. Any teachers in the room? God bless you. How do you do it? Math. Have you guys met Robert Tavares yet? Okay, Robert Tavares has a master's degree in math, and he now runs our education division. So knowing that math is kind of a scary thing for a lot of people, I brought in a guy that taught remedial math and has a master's degree in it to create our curriculum for our training programs. So that's what you're learning. Okay, in my hot little hands here, I have 2 different clipboards. Now, these sessions start tomorrow, okay? You can either choose to meet with us on Saturday or you can choose to meet with us on Sunday. Here's what these meetings are about. You're going to be meeting with Bernie or with Dave, and I want you to come with your current inventory of properties. I want you to come with your current asset allocation, and I want you to come with your current goals for 2015, okay? We are a lender. And for what you guys paid to be in here, you got to know I don't make any money for you being in here. I make money when you borrow money, and I make money when you lend money. So these are strategy sessions because we need to know what's going on in your business in 2015 and how can we help you. Because when we get more of what we want by helping you get more of what you want, correct? Okay? So in these meetings, I want you to come to Dave and Bernie and say, okay, here's my goals, here's what I want to accomplish, here's how much cash I'm going to need, here's what I need from you guys. So that when we leave here, we know exactly what to anticipate for loans coming out of this room. Because understand, guys, I allocate and raise capital based on demand. So if you guys tell me, if Dave and Bernie come back and say, okay, Lee, based on this room, I've got commitments that they're going to do $20 million. All right, I need to go raise $20 million for you guys in this room within the next week or so. Are you guys going to borrow $20 million next week? Because that would be great. Okay, so you all will be pulled out of the room for these strategy sessions because we need to know what to anticipate with you. This is your opportunity to have a say as to when it occurs, okay? So please sign up. If you're going to be leaving early on Sunday, please sign up for a Saturday session and vice versa. And just sign your name. The top one will be the earliest. So if you want to be later in the afternoon, just put your name down there. And then you'll see at the top here it says Saturday and Sunday. So choose the time that you want to meet. Also, if you're here with a business partner or a spouse, you guys will be meeting with Dave or Bernie together, okay? So you don't need to sign up for 2 individual sessions. All right. Anything more on that, Bernie? Is anybody leaving early on Sunday?
What time do we, if we stay?
We'll be done sometime between noon and 5. Yes, Lisa. So I need to know what you currently have, your asset allocation, so what properties do you currently own, and how many do you anticipate buying, okay?
But you said 3 things.
Your current asset allocation, the number of properties that you currently have, and the number you want to buy. Yeah, goals for 2015 would be how many you're going to buy. Yeah, yeah, okay? Now, guys, I'll give you a scenario here. Business is really like a game of chess. And many of you come to me and you say, well, Lee, what do you think about this? Asking me a question like that without knowing everything else that's going on is like asking me to make a good chess move when you're only showing me half the board. I got to know everything. I got to know what's here, what's there, what have you been doing with this thing or that thing so that we know how to move it. It's amazing to me the number of people that are struggling financially, but they're sitting on a free and clear residence. When they don't realize, $300,000 free and clear residence, when tapped properly and lent correctly, can generate about $40,000 a year in cash flow, just from your primary residence. So we're very good, strategically speaking, as to how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I wrote a course a few years ago called Millions in Minutes. How many of you have been through that? It was part of your Fortunes and Foreclosure product, Millions in Minutes. Anybody been through this? Okay. When you get home, go back to the emails we sent you when you signed up for this program, because I sent you a recording called Millions in Minutes. And what it is, it's a 2-hour presentation on how to take your current income, your current credit rating, your current assets, and generate an extra $1,500 a month without doing anything different, without taking on any more debt, without getting another job, $1,500 more per month. And that's guaranteed for anybody. Just doing what you're doing and changing a few things, okay? Millions in minutes. Please listen to that when you get home. And if you don't have it, get with Bernie or Dave back there and they can help you get started. Also, at the end of Sunday, I'm going to give every one of you $1,000 before you leave here. Wow, boy, you guys have turned into snobs. Suddenly $1,000 is chump change to you people. Oh, only $1,000, Lee? Come on. Oh, you're getting smart. Conditions. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Okay? Also, on Sunday morning at 7:45, this has not been previously announced, I don't believe. Has it? Okay, we have church Sunday morning. Okay? Who's coming to church on Sunday? All right, the rest of you, what, you just thrive in hot places, or... That's a hell joke. Come on. You live in Texas. All right. Other than the buffet, it's about the same climate. Okay, I got you. For church, I need people to sing in the choir. So we do a worship. We'll sing about 6 songs. The songs that you'll be singing as part of the choir are songs you know. Amazing Grace. What are some other standards? What? This Little Light of Mine. Oh, we got a rockabilly version of that you're going to love. Yeah. Camille? Yeah. The rockabilly version of This Little Light of Mine? Okay, all right. So do we have the choir sign up back there somewhere? Okay. So I need about 6 to 10 people for the choir. So if you guys are musically inclined, we'd love to have you sign up. For those of you that aren't musically inclined, I would remind you, it says make a joyful noise. It didn't say it had to be in tune. So just get up here and sing with gusto, and we'll all pretend like you're amazing. We will be in Luke chapter 6, beginning in verse 13. So these are actually, I do these every Sunday, you guys, so it's not just at our events. My wife and I have a non-profit, non-denominational for 7 years now. We started in 2007. And so at every one of our events for the last 7, 8 years now, we've been holding church on Sunday mornings. So we'd love for you to come by and check it out. It will be non-denominational. You're not going to have to play with snakes or dance around or any of those cool things. We keep it very low key. So just come and hang out with us. We'd love to have you. 7:45. If you are not the church-going type, regular sessions will start at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. So you can skip church, but we will know who you are. So that said, please bring your Bibles. Before I forget, please bring your Bibles. Sunday morning you will need them. We are a Bible reading church. So if you have one in your nightstand, bring it with you. It's the Holy Bible placed by the Gideons, not the other one. Dan, can you point the camera at Camille and have her tell the live streamers at home about church? Camille, go to work. Yeah, and we will actually open up. We send an email out to our whole
for the home
database.
viewing audience, we will have church Sunday morning if you want to log in at 8 o'clock. If not, we'll see you at 9.
What'd you say, Ken?
Church does rock.
Church does rock. Which service were you at? Austin, okay. Cool. Weren't you in the choir, Ken? No. No. I like that. All right.
What verse did you say?
No, the Kogo song will not be played for Sunday morning service. Yeah.
What verse did you say in Luke?
We're going to be in Luke chapter 6. We're getting verse 13. Yep. So anyway, guys, if you would like to be on our mailing list, we do send out a inspirational email every Saturday for for the Sunday service, go to he'sthesolution.com. He'sthesolution.com. It's either HES or HEIS. We own both domains, so they'll take you to the same spot. He'sthesolution.com. And just put in your name and email. And I promise you, we will email you religiously. Pun absolutely intended. Thank you. Sorry, guys, the jokes are not going to get any better. This is all I got. Okay, turn to page 91. What's the question, Judy?
Are we supposed to actually put a time we're requesting, or y'all are just going to get it?
We're going to start at the top and work our way through. So don't worry about the time. Just if you want morning, put it near the top, and if you want afternoon or evening, put it near the bottom. Also, tonight, guys, we don't have anything formal planned for you. So tonight in your schedule, which you did not receive, it says go to dinner with somebody you can network with. So you guys spend a lot of time together on the bus. When we break here in a few hours, you guys will go to lunch with somebody you think you can make some money with. So it's a networking dinner. We're not orchestrating it. You just go with whoever you think would be a good fit for your business. On Saturday, however, we will be having our VIP session. This is dinner with me, and I have a very private session for those in attendance only, where I'm going to beat you up a little bit and fix your business. So you don't want to miss that. VIPs, where are you? Okay, so don't eat anything. We've got a nice meal plan for you tomorrow, and that's at 6? 6. All right. Okay. All right, so let's begin here. Success, next exit, road to success. Here's our agenda. Why do this? 7 common roadblocks for the new investor. Essential steps all investors need to jumpstart their real estate career, and what's your roadmap? Anybody know who this guy is? Anyone? George Ross. Who's George Ross? Donald Trump's attorney. Okay, I was talking with one of the tables last night. I had lunch with George, and it's pretty interesting. He's kind of an angry guy, just so you know. He's very smart, though. But he made the statement, he says, I have met more people that have lost millions of dollars in real estate than have made millions of dollars in real estate, which is pretty interesting. Now, you guys have been to a lot of different real estate investment seminars and workshops. Have you met a lot of people there that have lost a lot of money? Yeah. Okay, so don't make the mistake of thinking that just because somebody's saying it that it's accurate. Also, don't think that just because you've been to a seminar, you're suddenly an amazing expert investor. You should have wise counsel, somebody that you're going to run things by. With wise counsel, plans succeed. Who said that? Solomon. The book of Proverbs, yeah. Who's this guy?
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons, okay? I want you guys to buy his book. Gene Simmons' Kiss. Does anybody know what it's called? It's I read it a few years ago. It's a great book. Family Jewels. No pun intended. He's talking about wealth, not family jewels. But what you'll learn about Gene Simmons, this guy's a brilliant marketer, an amazing marketer. Who's this guy? Reagan, okay? So up here, I show you some mentors, some people that I've followed, and down here, I show you some people that I've mentored. When you guys reach a certain level of success, how many of you intend to turn around and help other people follow where you've been? Okay? Don't wait. Start doing that now. My biggest pet peeve is when people say things like, well, I'm going to give to charity when I make money. Or I'm going to put money in the tithing plate when I finally start making some money. Hey guys, if I'm talking, you can't be, just so you know, thanks. Now, in the Bible, you guys remember the parable where the landowner gives certain amounts of money to the three individuals. And the one individual buries his tithe. The other individual sticks it in the bank, or he sticks it in the bank and he gets interest only, or CD interest. And the other servant invests it and makes a windfall of cash for the master. Here's the statement. Ye who have been faithful with a little will be faithful with much. And what that verse means is it's all about habits. So if you're not investing 10% of what you've got now into charities or tithes or your church or some cause that you believe in, you're not going to do it when you got millions of dollars either. Unless, of course, it's for tax benefits and write-offs. But that's not where the blessing lies, okay? That's not where the blessing lies. The blessing is in the surplus. So I would lead you to the great Italian prophet, the book of Malachi. Others of you have heard it called Malachi. Yeah, where it says, God says, test me in this. Test me in this. Give so much away and watch that I will make your storehouses overflowed with blessing. What does that mean? It means the more you give, the more you get. And God believes in this so much that He tells us to test Him in it. Now, please do not test Him the way that I did. I wrote God a very large check. And I said, God, I will write you this check. However, I expect significant return as a result. And then August of 2008 happened. So I am here to tell you that I am the cause of the Great Recession. Don't negotiate with God. Yes, God loves a cheerful giver, and He does not need your money. All right, this is a group we took up when I was doing a big development up in Park City. This is another group that we had. This is actually a big cruise ship or a boat that we take out on Lake Coeur d'Alene. We have a lot of different training programs where you'll come up to our corporate office and we'll wine you and dine you and show you a great time. Just some of our events. This was the grand opening of our new facility that we are now in, and you guys will come by and see that as well. So, on the road to success, there's 7 roadblocks. Over the last 17 years of consulting, I've encountered 7 common roadblocks. These are the 7. Number 1 is fear. Les Brown said, too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. You cannot thrive in an environment of fear or worry. They are killers of growth and advancement. This also includes the people around you. So I want you to take a quick inventory of those that you hang out with. Are they the types of individual that you aspire to be, or are they the types of individual you currently are? It was said that we are the sum total of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Now, an interesting exercise that you can do on your own is you take all of the people you spend the most time with, all 5 of them, write down their income, add it together, divide by 5, and that will be your income annually within a 10% variance up or down. Now, what's interesting is when you take out one of those 5 and insert a millionaire, watch what happens to the averages. Take out one of those 5 and add somebody that makes 10 or 20 or $100 million a year and watch what happens to the averages. So are you striving to find and be surrounded by these people? Some of you heard I've now been finally accepted into Dan Kennedy's Titanium Mastermind. Did you guys hear me say that? Yeah. Now, the reason I want to be involved in this group is Dan makes about $100 million a year. And most of the people in his Titanium Mastermind make tens of millions of dollars a year. I have been applying for 9 years. I just got in. Now, my point here is I have been working towards that goal simply because I want to be around the people that are in the group. It has nothing to do with anything else. Because when you hang out with those types of people, your income will go up exponentially. The other reason is I needed a new mentor. You see, in the last 17 years of my career, I've always had a new mentor. My pharmacist that lent me the first hard money loan, he was my first mentor because he had done very well in the pharmacy. He was now doing very well in investment. This is a true story. 4 weeks ago, my wife and I were at a restaurant with our kids. This was right before Christmas. I haven't seen Brent in about 5 years, and he comes walking in the front door of the restaurant. So we sit down and we talk, and Brent has not done very well over the last several years. He still owns some rental properties, but he's making about $100 a piece, and he's got a cash flow of about $2,600. There was a time when that was impressive to me. But there was also a time where I realized I needed somebody else to follow. And you guys need to understand that your mentor today should not be your mentor tomorrow. Your mentor today should bring you up to where you are. Your mentor tomorrow should be where you want to be. And you continually cycle them out to move up. So, you either are a mentor or you are a mentee. I encourage both. So when I joined Dan Kennedy's mastermind, I said, you know what? I'm going to have a mastermind. So I'm in Dan's and I have my own. So I'm the mentor, the mentee. Make sense? Okay? This is what you guys should be looking for, because fear will cause all of these things. Poverty, criticism, the unknown, talking to strangers. I want you to circle talking to strangers, because the one area of your business that I have found to have the most efficiency is picking up the phone. This is my pet peeve. It drives me crazy. I have clients that will spend thousands of dollars producing some of the best leads on planet Earth, where people are just dying to give them money, and they're one phone call away from cashing the check, and they don't pick up the phone. Somewhere along the lines of social media and the texting and the email, we have forgotten the ability or the art of talking to each other. Your telephone will make you more money than any other seminar you can attend if used properly. Okay? So we produce the leads, we dial the leads, we work the leads, we follow up on the leads. Those leads are your book of business, and they got to be worked. Okay? Conquering fear through action. So challenge yourself. Action is the natural killer of fear. Now, do you guys think there are days that I have anxiety about my company or my business? Yeah, I'm responsible for the income of 50 different households. That can wear on you at times. I'm responsible for managing and overseeing tens of millions of dollars of other people's money. That can wear on you at times. And I find that when I'm having the most anxiety or the most stress, it's when I'm sitting idle. Idleness, in my opinion, is what causes many of these traits. So you need to be busy. And I have found that when I find myself in these periods of anxiety or feeling overwhelmed, I simply start picking up the phone and dialing people. And I ask one question: how can we make money together? It's the only question. How can we make money together? That question triggers a discussion where you're both focused on the same thing, which is making money. Okay? Relationships work when there's significant synergy, and when you're making money and cashing checks together, what better synergy is there? So how can we make money together? Now, when you're with Dave and Bernie tomorrow and Sunday, I want you to sit down with them and say, how can I make money with Kogo Capital? Because that's what we want to know from you. How can we make money together? That's what we're building. This workshop, this conference does not end Sunday when you walk out the door. That better be the beginning of a very long and lucrative relationship. If it's not, you've wasted your time and I've wasted mine. Do you like wasting your time? Me neither. So we've got to make money together. Can we do that? Time will tell. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. How many of you guys have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Or I'm sorry, How to Win Friends and Influence People. First time? Do you love it? Yeah. Dale Carnegie. That's a great book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And if you haven't taken it, I will tell you that one of the best things the grocery store did for me is they actually paid 50% for me to attend the Dale Carnegie 12-week leadership training course. That changed my life. Since that time, I have paid for numerous employees to go through the training as well. It is a 12-week training course, Dale Carnegie Leadership Training. I would highly recommend it. And I would pay for that a lot faster to send my kids to than I'd pay for college. And I've been to both. I liked that one. College and I were not good friends. Analysis paralysis. The Investopedia definition occurs when an individual becomes so lost in the process of examining and evaluating various points of data that he or she is unable to make a decision with it. Analysis paralysis can occur with many decisions, including investment decisions. The inaction it causes can easily lead to loss in portfolio or missed chances at larger profits. So, if you ever call my office and manage to get me on the phone, which is almost an impossibility unless you have an appointment, and you ask me about a deal, I'm going to ask you two questions. What do you have it under contract for? Please write that down. What do you have it under contract for? Because if you ever call my office and ask me questions about a deal that you do not have under contract, I'm going to climb through the phone and personally smack you with it. You guys saw what happened today. And I will tell you, that deal getting snaked out right out from under you is probably the best thing that could have happened to you on this bus tour. So much so, I almost wish we would have thought of that. But that's just the business, okay? Losing deals is not fun when you consider the amount of time, energy, and effort you put into getting them. If you do not have it under contract, you better not be talking to another living soul about it. And, just so you know, I will never circumvent you or snake you on a deal unless you're doing something stupid. And that is talking to other people about deals that you don't control. Because who's to say that they're not going to get off the phone with you and call the seller or the agent and put in their own offer? Until you control it, tell no one. Write the offer. Now there's 3 things you're going to stick in there, and I'll elaborate on this tomorrow and Sunday as we talk about contract writing. You're going to make it subject to inspection, subject to partner approval, and subject to third-party financing through Kogo Capital. Subject to inspection, subject to partner approval, and subject to third-party financing through Kogo Capital. Now, many of you have been writing cash offers knowing that you're going to borrow private money. Private money is not cash, it's a loan. So when you write a cash offer and they say, okay, show us proof of funds, and you go, oh crap, I don't have proof of funds. Well, then it's not a cash offer. So unless you've got an account somewhere with couple $100,000 in there that shows the amount that you're writing the offer for, it's not cash. It is a private money loan. It's not conventional or traditional financing, but it is a loan. Okay? So, what are the 3? Number 1? Let's try that again. Number 1? Subject to inspection. If you had anything else, change it. It is subject to inspection. Number 2? Subject to partner approval. Who is your partner? Anybody. Whoever you want. If you don't want the deal, it's anybody that will say no. That's your partner. And if you don't have anybody that will say no, call me and I'll send you a nice little note that says no. And you can send it to the listing agent. I'm sorry, my partner said no. Number 3. Kogo. Kojo. In Spanish, it'd be cojo. Yes. Rashid, loudly. Okay, wait. Dan's coming with a microphone.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. I get the sense on the subject 2s. 2 issues I have based on some experience also. Some of the contracts that you write with some of the real estate agents, they don't like to vary the Texas track that they have significantly. And then second, the banks, because they are getting better terms these days, there's cash value, there's some immediacy. A lot of them too are not, this one would not fly with them. So I just wanted to find out what the experience has been in that respect.
Okay, Rashid, here's the challenge with your question. Every issue that you've raised is because you're writing offers to listed property. I do not teach you to buy properties from realtors. I teach you to buy your inventory before a realtor gets their greedy little hands on it. And I say that as a fellow realtor, so just relax, realtors. Much love, okay? I do not buy on the MLS, but I always sell on the MLS, okay? I do not buy on the MLS, I sell on the MLS. If you are buying properties on the MLS, it's because people like me passed on them. So what does that tell you that you're buying? You're buying subpar inventory. You're paying too much. I wouldn't have bought it off of the MLS. Why are you? So if we're not, well, Lee, if we're not buying it off of the MLS, where are we going to get it? There's the holy grail of making a whole bunch of cash in real estate, okay? We got to find it everywhere else. Now, one of my favorite strategies is foreclosure auction. I love the auction. It's fast. I buy today, I own today. No questions. And the people that I'm directly competing against aren't idiots. Why? Because they got to come in with the same pockets full of cash as I do, and they have to know what they're doing. See, if I'm going to play in any battle, I want to be playing against the best. And the best investors in business buy at auction. Everybody else buys from the MLS. I don't want to be competing on a level with all of the minions. I want to be on the top of the food chain, not at the bottom scrounging for the same scraps that everybody else is. That's MLS Properties. It's Sarah, right? I'm not offending you right now, am I? Oh, good. Because you're a realtor. Yeah, these deals are not in the MLS. So, Rashid, the answer to your question is not a question if you're not buying on the MLS. Okay? So, auction properties. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Leah, I don't have any cash. You got to have all cash to bid at the auction. Not if you buy it before the auction. Every property that goes to the foreclosure auction has been public record for at least 90 days. By law, in every state and every 6,600 counties in the U.S. They've been public record for 6 months in some markets. So why did you wait this long for it to go to the auction and competitively bid against everybody, wait the 90 days for the bank to finally get it back and assign it to a realtor, and then wait for everybody else to bid within that 10-day investor time frame? You're bidding against the wrong competitor. Now, if I want to be a successful race car driver, am I racing go-karts? Am I racing like big cars? Okay? In real estate, the big cars are non-MLS property. Make sense? Okay? Now, I will tell you, and I want to make sure you get this point, I always list on the MLS. Always. I never attempt to sell a property for sale by owner. 85% of all real estate is sold through an agent. So to not list it on the MLS, you are missing 85% of your buyer populace. Now, this is only true if you are retailing. If you are wholesaling, avoid the MLS. You can sell it without the fees. Now, are you guys working to build a wholesale book of business currently? I am. I have an ad right now that's running on Craigslist in my market, and it says, steeply discounted real estate for the right rehab or investor. Seller will carry financing. Any investors interested in that ad? Yeah. Okay. So now you're going to respond to me. Hey, Lee, what's the address? Well, I'm out of inventory. What are you looking for? And then I move them into my wholesale list. And every time I got a great deal, I email it out to thousands of people and say, hey, here's another one. You want it? Now, some of you are going to say, well, Lee, we don't have seller financing. Are there any COGO brokers in the room? Okay. If you're a COGO broker, you have seller financing, because you're going to broker your buyer's money to purchase your wholesale deal. Does that make sense? Okay? Many of you are making this so much harder than it needs to be. It's really not that difficult. Okay? All right. When we are opportunity focused, you are action oriented and action excited. You risk doing nothing at all. So you focus on all that's possible. You look at opportunity in a risk versus reward format. You think in terms of how much it'll make, devise new ways to make more money. And we need to stop analysis paralysis, which is questions like how much, when, what if it isn't a good deal, it's too risky. You can ask every single one of those questions after you've put it under contract. Because these questions will save your butt. But if you ask them before you write the offer, put it under contract, these questions will cost you a fortune, because they are questions of inaction. So I want you to write this statement down. It's the one question I ask on every single deal after I have it under contract. Here it is. Why am I so lucky? Why am I so lucky? This house has been sitting here as a probate, dilapidated, beat up, boarded up for months on end, and I've now swooped in like a white knight and put it under contract for 10 cents on the dollar? Why am I so lucky? Now that question causes me to hire an asbestos inspector to go in and do asbestos testing, to hire a mold remediator company to go in and tell me if there's mold in this place, to hire a foundational contractor and tell me the foundation is sound. Why am I so lucky? But when am I doing all of this due diligence? After I control the deal. Never before. And I don't drive out there until I control the deal. Camille. Tabitha.
I wanted to go back to the
No.
question, or you were talking about going to auctions.
Yep.
I've attended an auction in a very large
What state are you in?
This was actually in Houston.
Okay, so Tuesday?
So Harris
Super
County.
Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah. And there was, it did all the work, divided it out between the 7 different sections, ended up getting it down to one precinct that I was interested in. And while being there, they were being paid at current as they were getting ready to say the listing number. And there was no way to get in touch with those people. How would you recommend getting around that part of it? And we ended up not getting anything at all because everything either paid current or they way overbid.
Yeah. And do you know why they overbid? Because when you foreclose on a piece of property, if I'm an FDIC-insured bank and the property that's being foreclosed for government-backed, FHA, Fannie, VA, I'm going to get every dollar that I lent, including accelerated interest, attorney's costs, and everything else. So they jack the price up to what's called full debt. They sell it on the open market. They inherit a $60,000 to $100,000 loss, and then they send a billable to the federal government that then cuts them a check for the loss. Okay? So one of the easiest ways to One of the easiest ways to avoid what you're doing is check who the underlying lender is. If it's an FHA or a V loan, they're never going to open the bidding at a specified amount. It'll always be full debt. So just avoid those. Secondly, every property that you saw go to sale on Super Tuesday was public record 90 days before that. So pull the public notice of default filing. If you're in a non-judicial foreclosure market, which Texas is. If you're in a judicial foreclosure market, you're going to pull a lis pendens filing. Lis pendens is Latin for lien pending. So in a judicial market, I don't file a foreclosure. I actually have to sue the homeowner. That's what initiates the foreclosure action, lien pending. Okay? So NOD, or notice of default in non-judicial, lis pendens in judicial. And they're very easy to get. Do not, I'm going to restate this, do not pay for an online service that is selling you this information. It is scraped, dated data. And if you want to win the game, you got to be the first one in the door. That information, if you track it, if you physically go down to your courthouse or your county recorder's office, pull the lead yourself, you will see a 14 to 21 day lag before it shows up on your nifty little website that you're paying $49 a month for. You cannot win with those leads because people like me are pulling them straight from the county. Now, years ago, before the internet was the internet that it is today, I actually paid over $1,000 to run a T-line. You guys know what a T-line is? That's a big, fat internet pipe. I paid $1,000 to run it straight into the county courthouse's computers. So they connected straight to my office. Now, they were aware of it, all right. I didn't middle of the night sneak in there with a mask. And it was part of their deal. I said, how many other people are doing this? They said, none. I said, well, this is going to be great. So when you talk to Regan and I about the volume of short sales we were doing, we had over 280 short sales that we were negotiating in our office at any given time. I controlled 65% of the inventory within our office. 65 agents, I'm 65% of the revenue. Why? I had the fresh data. See, winning's not that difficult. You just have to get there first. You guys heard the story of my wife? You heard that story? I'll tell it quickly. So I was on the road. I traveled a lot. And we were in Salt Lake City at an event, and my wife was actually there working with another vendor. And I was like, wow, she is good looking. And some of the other guys that were with us on the road were like, wow, she is good looking. And as all young boys do, we all call dibs. Which doesn't work when there's 5 of you, right? Somebody's got to win. I said, well, may the best man win. So I approach her and I say, hey, would you like to go to dinner tonight? We're all going to go hang out. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go to dinner. So we get to dinner and all of the other guys had just forgotten their ID and they couldn't get into the establishment. So they said, Lee, we're going to go back to the hotel and get our ID and we'll call you to find out where you guys are at because we've never been here and we don't know where this place is. I said, yeah, call me. So they left and I turned off my phone. Now we're married and have 3 kids. So it's not always about being the best looking guy at the ball. It's being the first and only guy at the ball. That's what I learned. Okay? All right, so get out of the rut of indecision by dropping the need for perfection. No deal is perfect. It's always going to have hair. Now, hair is industry jargon to mean it's got challenges, problems. We got to sort through them. You're always going to encounter title issues. You're going to encounter insurance issues, especially in today's day and age. Now we have things like Chinese mold, Chinese drywall. You guys heard of this? This is like the craziest thing I think contractors made up. I don't even believe it exists. No offense, contractors. I too am a licensed contractor. I think it's silly. Chinese drywall, really? But it costs a fortune to remediate. It's incredibly expensive. Embrace, ready, fire, aim. Take a well-informed shot and then adjust accordingly. Establish deadlines, okay? Please write this statement down. Goals without dates are dreams. Goals without dates are dreams. If you ever tell me what you're going to accomplish, I will ask you a follow-up question, by when? Oh, that's great. You're going to buy a house. Great. By when are you going to buy a house? Don't tell me you're going to do something and not tell me by when you're going to do it, because it will never transpire. Goals without dates are dreams. Adopting the buddy system. Should you find yourself off course, ask for help, mentorship and education, network, and then make quick decisions. I heard it said that the wealthy and successful make quick, calculated, confident decisions. I like that. Quick, calculated, confident decisions. You can find that in a tremendous book. If you have not read it, you should. The author is Dan Kennedy. And the title of the book is Why Do I Always Have to Sit Next to the Farting Cat? Have you read that book, Mai? I actually assigned that book to my staff to read because it's out of print. It's been out of print for 20 plus years. You cannot, for the life of you, find this book. Well, I managed to find one on eBay, and I paid $160 because I collect rare books. And I got it, and it's literally this tiny little book about this big. It's all the bigger it is, and it's like 32 pages. That's all it is. 160, and I'm like, I really paid $160 for this? So I signed it to my staff for the book club, because every month I assign a book. If they read it, write a 6-paragraph report, I'll give them $100 cash, and I'll give them $20 for the book. I believe that poor people have large TVs, rich people have big libraries, so I help my staff develop a large library, right? So I assigned the book, Why Do I Always Have to Sit Next to the Farting Cat? And I had purchased the book, knowing it was the only one on the internet, and I put it back on eBay for $1,000. Nobody bought it. But it's still there if you want to own it. Anyone? That'd be a pretty good markup. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Before you close, some things to remember. Check the seller's claims versus actual numbers. Some of you are concerned that Kogo Capital always requires and demands an appraisal. You're darn right. And we will never deviate from that. As other investors enter the space and you're tempted to go with them because they can close faster, because there's no appraisal requirement, avoid the desire to go the easy road. The appraisal is there to protect you, to ensure that there's nothing we don't know about. I actually prefer that you all get a home inspection before you buy. I personally do not buy real estate until I have paid for and received a home inspection. Now, how many of you live down in the southeast? Florida, Louisiana? What market are you in? Florida. You're in Miami. Okay? You guys have like gigantic cockroaches in Miami, correct? And you also have poisonous, venomous snakes in Miami, correct? All right, I'm going to pay someone else $300 to go crawl around in the attic and the foundation and all the nooks and crannies of that house, because I don't do bugs, I don't do spiders, I don't do snakes. I'm somewhat effeminate in that. Duck Dynasty, those guys are insane. Pay the $300. They'll take pictures under the counters, the cabinets, behind the fridges. They'll go everywhere. And that report is especially helpful when you're wholesaling. So the other reason I look at it as investment, because when I wholesale, people say, Lee, can you send me information on the property? Sure. Here's an appraisal, which I will assign to you if you choose to buy it. And here's a property inspection. So you don't even need to go over there to say yes. You can simply look at the corresponding report and tell me you want to buy right now. See, I want to make it easy for my customers to give me money. I want you to write down that statement. I want to make it easy for my customers to give me money. And everything you do should be driven by that goal. How easy is it for your customers to hand you cash? Know the purchase information. What's the purchase price, price any rehab? Understand the financing details. What is the total loan amount? Verify the income. If you're going to hold it as a rental, what is it worth? Be aware of all the expenses. Know the gross versus the net. How many of you live in New York? What part? Bronx. You live in the Bronx, okay? I actually flew up and did some consulting for a company up in Niagara Falls. Have anybody been to Niagara Falls? Buffalo? This is a weird place. So I go into the guy's house, and he's got like this 5,800 square foot home, and it's all one level on slab, and he's an exotic hunter. So I go into his house, and he literally has taxidermy of elephants and giraffes and rhinoceroses in his house. It was like grim death in this place. Very interesting. Over 280 taxidermied animals in this house. Very strange. And it's a beautiful home, and this guy's very wealthy. He actually built up a series of auto store components and sell them to Pep Boys for millions of dollars. So he had hired me to come up and tell him what to do with his millions of dollars. Anybody want my job? That's kind of fun. You should put it there and there and there. What's my point? His house was beautiful. And I asked him, what is it worth? He said, I could probably get about $300,000 for it. And I went, this house is worth like $1.5 million in most markets I've been to. He says, yeah, Lee, but my taxes are $120,000 a year. I said, are you kidding me? He said, no, in New York State, taxes will kill you. Now, this is important when you're on all these websites where you see all these amazingly cheap homes and you're so tempted to buy them, or you go to one of these seminars where they got all the tables in the back and they're selling you houses through your IRA and promising you tenants for 2 years and cash flow. Anybody been to one of these? Okay? You need to be aware of what you're buying in the market that you're buying it in. What are the taxes? What are the insurance? There are actually zones that insurance companies will not insure. We have a foreclosure in Florida we're taking down right now. We had to force place the insurance for $8,500 a year because it's in a flood zone. That's some pretty hefty insurance. That's going to add to your monthly payment obligation because it's all escrow impounds on your payment. So you got to know where and what you're buying. Know the gross versus the rent. Two most important things you got to know: what can I get it for, and what is it worth? These are the only two questions I am ever going to ask you about a deal. So between today, tomorrow, and the next day, if you want to ask me a question about a deal, you better know these two questions, or the answers to these two questions. What are you going to pay for it? What is it worth? Beyond that, I don't care. I don't need to know the square footage. I don't need to know the bedrooms and baths. I don't need to know the history about the family that used to live there. I don't care about the treehouse in the backyard. None of that matters. And I will tell you this, guys, especially as you're wholesaling, you're going to be dealing with a different subset of client. You're going to be dealing with people that move very quickly. You must move very quickly. Nothing bothers me more than slow talkers. No offense, Southerners. Talk faster. Successful people don't have time, okay? We need to hear what you got right now, so spit it out. You got to know your numbers, and you've got to be confident in the delivery of. Everything else is background. I don't care about the street. I don't care that Home Alone was filmed in that house. That house is up for sale, by the way. Did you know that? Check it out on Zillow. Just type in Home Alone house. They did some pretty cool remodels on it. It's very contemporary now. Zig Ziglar said this: lack of direction, not lack of time is the problem. We all have 24 hours a day. Now, in my 24 hours a day, guys, I make millions of dollars a year. What do you do in your 24 hours a day? Do you make millions of dollars a year? If you don't, the question is, why not? I don't have any more time in a day than you do. So what am I doing differently than you aren't? Have you asked that question? See, and that one thing is really what drives me. Because there's a lot of really successful people out there, more so than me. You know, I'm doing okay. But when you start comparing me to others, I'm like an idiot. They're making billions of dollars. What are they doing differently? And I'll tell you the one thing that they do better than anyone: they leverage their time very effectively. If you do not have a personal assistant or somebody that works for you on a full-time basis in a full-time capacity for your business, you need to make that a goal. And I wouldn't just make it a goal this year, I would make it a goal in like the next 5 days. Because again, if you are here, your business is earning zero. No mail is being dropped, no follow-up calls are being made, no offers are being written, no subs are being sent to properties to get bids on repair and estimation for renovation. None of that's happening. So you look at, well, Lee, I can't afford an assistant. Yet when I sit down with some of you, you'll tell me you spent $100,000 in education. So you'll spend $100,000 on education, but you won't spend $10 an hour to get somebody that will sit next to you and do everything you say from the hours of 8 to 5? Does that make any sense to you? No. When my wife and I got married, I wanted to make sure I managed her expectations, so I said, by the way, you should know we're going to be rich and we're going to be poor. Henry Ford said, I've been rich, I've been poor, I prefer rich. So I said, but this is where you need to understand. I said, in the times that we are dirt poor, I said, before I put a roof over the head of you or the children, at the time there were no children, I said, if there are children, before I put food on the table or shelter you in housing, I will pay my personal assistant's salary. Now, how do you suppose that message went over? I cannot stress to you the importance of good people working with you, for you, on behalf of you to help you make money. Now, some of you are not good organizers. Some of you are not good planners. Some of you are not good implementers. You're the idea people. And I will tell you guys that I am the idea guy. I am the visionary. Your job as CEO is visionary. I am an amazing starter. I hate finishing stuff. It's boring. I like starting stuff, new ideas, new concepts, new strategies, new businesses. That's where I thrive. But if you asked me to do the accounting or file the taxes, I would be one bullet away from grim death. Because I do not want to do that. Now, knowing that that's how I am, I'm always going to hire for my weaknesses. Now, many of you have talked to my staff, and some of you have said that they're very pleasant and very nice. Is that correct? Am I very pleasant and very nice? No. I've hired for my weaknesses. Okay? I'm not organized. My assistant Cheryl is tremendously organized. Always hire to your weakness, not your strengths, which means you don't hire your friends. They're your friends because they're like you. Hire your enemy. This will be your best assistant. Lack of clarity or focus. Let's break down your 24-hour day. Okay? Here's the statistical average. We sleep 8 hours, we work 8 hours, we spend 3 hours with friends and family, we spend 5 hours on TV, emails, webinars, social media, or surfing the web. Statistically speaking now, we spend over 2 hours per day on Facebook, which is a great statistic if you're buying traffic off of Facebook. It's a horrible statistic if you're sitting there looking at everybody else's ads. Okay? Is anybody currently buying traffic on Facebook? Why not? It is a captive audience, and you can profile your target to the T. I can identify in my county how many people drink red wine on Thursday and play golf with pink balls. That's what Facebook gives you. You can literally zero down to where you're only communicating and your message is only being seen by a handful of the best potential customers. It's an amazing tool. That's why it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Thank you, Regan. I thought it was me.
No, it's not you.
Hey, you guys are still awake, though. I'm pretty impressed. That's amazing. I see some of you just kind of tempted to fall asleep. Who's in that category? Thank you. I'm going to make sure I talk directly to you, Hudson.
At some point, you help us fine-tune social media?
Will I help you to fine-tune social media? No, but I will tell you what you need to be doing with social media. Okay? We have a lot to cover tomorrow and Sunday. All right, so manage your time. Write down how you're using your time right now. Cut out the stuff that is sucking time from income-producing activities. Plan ahead. Schedule your time. Stick to the plan. Get smart. These are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals, and then make sure everything you do gets closer to them and create stepping stones that lead you to the prize. Here's the strategy you guys got to know. The rule of 56. We live, breathe, and die by this rule. And it is this rule that I will issue you the $100,000 a year guarantee. Anybody want to know what that is? All right, 3 of you come up here. I'll tell you privately. Anyone else? Who wants to know the $100,000 guarantee? All right, here's my guarantee. If you will do this every week, in and out, for 56 straight weeks, I guarantee you'll make $100,000. Dan, is the camera recording? Okay, so I'm gonna put this on film. You guys ready? I guarantee that if you will do this every week, week in and week out for the next 52, if at the end of the 52 weeks you have not made $100,000 or more, I will cut you a check for the deficiency.
Wow. How are we going to prove that we did it?
Because you're going to show me the 25 pieces of mail that you send every week. You're going to show me the 25 outbound dials that you made every week. You're going to give me a copy of your phone statement that you dialed every week. You're going to give me copies of the 4 offers that you made every week. You're going to give me 2 pictures of the networking event you attended every week.
Good deal.
Marketing pieces do not include emails. Thank you, Camille. These are direct mail pieces. Okay? The old style of marketing. Direct mail. Unsexy, uncool, unhip, unflashy and fancy direct mail. You know, direct mail is pulling now better than it ever has. It has a higher open rate than any other form of marketing currently available because every company on planet Earth has gone to the web. You have a greater open rate in direct mail now than you ever had in the history of the U.S. Postal Service. And I'm surprised that they're not making that a bigger deal because they're kind of broke. Well, I guess they're not broke. I mean, we do write them a $9 billion check every year as taxpayers to cover the deficiency. How many of you are dropping direct mail currently? Okay. How many of you are purchasing the list yourself, writing the letter yourself, hand addressing the envelope yourself, licking the stamp and the envelope yourself? How many of you are doing that? Okay, good. You guys right now have the highest open rate in all of direct mail because a handwritten letter will be opened faster than any other piece of mail that you can send. Okay? And when you try to cut corners on this one area, your response rate is going to drop exponentially. Number 5, lack of self-discipline. Natural talent counts for very little unless it's supercharged with self-discipline. It's really great that you're very talented. How many of you guys have seen the movie Good Will Hunting? Did you like that movie? I thought it was a great movie. That guy was a genius, wasn't he? Was he making any money? No. He was living in some rental cleaning floors at Harvard, right? There's a lot of people out there like that. I have people that have master's degrees and PhDs that work for me. Why do they work for me if they're so brilliant? Because smarts don't make you cash, okay? The right action at the right time at the right place is what makes you cash. So I really don't care what your educational background is. I don't care if you have a degree. I don't care if you graduated from college or not. I don't care if you have a GED. I don't care if you jumped out the window when you were 9 years old like Churchill. Don't care. Are you going to do the things that make you money? See, many of you think that your efforts are producing results because you spend all day at the office and you're on the computer all day responding to emails and you're sending letters and you're making calls. There's only one thing that tells us whether or not what you're doing is successful. Do you know what it is? You're cashing checks. And if you work for the next 2, 3, or 4 weeks and you do not cash a check, you need to stop and ask yourself, am I doing the right stuff? And what you will most likely find, especially if I'm working with you, is you are not. Now, there was a time that I used to fly out all over the country and I would do private consulting for guys like you. So I'd send them a whole bunch of to-dos and they'd have to be ready for me to get there. And the first thing that I would do when I'd show up at their house or place of business on Monday morning and I was to say, show me what you do today. And I would follow them around for the whole day, and I wouldn't say anything. What do you suppose I found? Wasted time. Because they go into their office and the first thing they do is they open their email, which is the wrong thing to do. Because when you open your email or answer your phone, whatever you had scheduled or had planned to do that day is now suddenly going to be rerouted by something that's more important, which is why I don't answer my cell phone. Unless it's my wife, I don't answer my cell phone. And if you call my cell phone, it will say, "This is Lee Arnold. Thanks for calling. Please do not leave a message at this number. Contact my assistant Cheryl to schedule an appointment." Because I don't take unscripted calls and I don't have unscheduled appointments. Because the minute I answer my phone, that one person or call could completely change my entire course. And I can't allow that to happen. So my day is scheduled from 8 until 5 or 6 or 7. I don't like mornings, so I usually start at 9, but I work till 6 or 7. The other thing is I know that I have self-diagnosed ADD. I get very bored easily, and I like shiny, fun, exciting things. So knowing that that's how I am, I schedule accordingly, which means my day is scheduled in 15-minute increments. I even schedule moments that I'm going to go pee. Because if I don't, I will end up at the vending machine or down the street getting a soda or something else, right? And I got an appointment. Everything I do is scheduled because I know that that's how I am. And it's okay to admit fault. What's not okay is to use it as a reason or excuse to not be successful. You use it as a reason to fix schedule, hire. Why do people lack self-discipline? Humans are not naturally disciplined. Given the choice, people do what's easy and fun over what's profitable. Hang on. What's hard and laborious. Negative mental programming. Money is the root of all evil. And no pain, no gain, or no pain, no gain. Humans are not naturally disciplined. Here's what you guys are bumping up against, okay? You were born. Who told you what to do? Parents. You went to elementary school. Who told you what to do? Teachers. You got out of elementary school, you went to junior high or middle school, whatever it is now. Who told you what to do? Teachers. Parents and teachers. You go to high school, who tells you what to do? Teachers. Now, you graduate high school and you have a choice. You're either going to go to a job or you're going to go to college. At either place, who's telling you what to do? Somebody else. Teachers or a boss. At what point in your life cycle do you learn to tell yourself what to do? You don't. So, becoming an entrepreneur, older and older and older in life, becomes more and more challenging because you are not self-disciplined. You naturally need somebody else to tell you what to do. The reason we came up with the rule of 56 is so it would guide you and tell you what to do. Have you dropped your 25 pieces of mail this week? No? That's what you need to do. Have you made your 25 phone calls this week? No? That's what you need to do. Pick up the phone. Now, we do something that's called Big Rock scheduling or Big Rock calendaring. And 3 times throughout the week, I want you scheduling a 2-hour block of time where all you do is make outbound cold calls to a list that I tell you to buy. Outbound cold calls. Now, how many of you like to make cold calls? You do?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Anybody else? All right. Would you believe that I hate making outbound cold calls? I hate it. It's an important element of business. So who does it in my company? Somebody else. Okay? And they're making outbound cold calls for one explicit reason and purpose, and that is to schedule an appointment with me. So cold calls are for the purpose of establishing need and setting an appointment. Nothing more. Okay? Please write those 2 things down. Establish need, set the appointment. Do not go into some lengthy diatribe about everything that you want to accomplish and do, and don't let them pontificate about the property or how long they've been investing in real estate. I don't care about any of that stuff. Now, some of you, because you need to make money really bad because you're broke and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you know it, you're going to be tempted to chase the rabbit. And you never win when you chase the rabbit. You always win when you get the rabbit to come to you. So how do you do that? It's called positioning and posturing. We'll talk about that on Sunday. Okay? Dennis Whaley said this, because success is heavy, it carries a responsibility with it. It's much easier to procrastinate and live on the someday I'll philosophy. I actually taught a seminar with Dennis Whaley years ago. Do you know who Dennis is? Anyone? You a motivational guy. Anybody heard of The Secret? Run to Burn? Okay. Dennis Whaley, we actually did a webinar or a seminar with him when The Secret was kind of the big thing. I'll move past my opinion of that. Procrastination is because we're easily distracted, or we tolerate everything, or we waste time on TV. We dismiss failings by blaming others. We get frustrated when there is an instant gratification. We're convinced we don't know what it takes to reach other success status. We give up before we begin. Are depressed, feel that depression, and are in constant and holding pattern. Sadly, guys, many of you have come to a real estate investment workshop before, and you've gone home and you've attempted to be successful. And when that success doesn't come, you think, well, it must be that I need to attend another real estate investment seminar. And so now you've been going to them religiously for the last 10 or 15 years. And you now use them as your justification that I'm being successful. No. Success comes because you're making profit or you're making money. Hopefully both. If you're not, there's no seminar on the planet that's going to fix that. You are the problem. How do you like hearing that? If you're not making more money, it is your fault, no one else's. How many of you like hearing that? Nobody likes hearing that. But until you recognize what the real problem is, you can't fix it. You are the problem. Okay? Robert Ebert said, what I believe is that all clear-minded people should remain two things throughout their lifetimes, curious and teachable. I agree. Some students begin by knowing it all. My biggest pet peeve is if you don't ask a question, if you don't want the answer. Overestimate their strength and underestimate the strength of the competition. Put personal interests ahead of their business interests. Are arrogant and make reckless decisions. Eliminate anyone who might challenge their decision. Minimize difficult obstacles and don't plan accordingly. Rely on outdated strategies, analysis, and tactics. So are you teachable? Are you? Are you teachable? Yes. Are you teachable? Yes. We'll see. Am I open to other people's ideas? Do I listen more than I talk? Am I open to changing my opinion based on new information? Do I observe before acting on a situation, or do I ask questions? So are you teachable? Am I willing to ask a question that will expose my ignorance? Guys, one of my goals, and many of you that have been around for a while have heard me say this before, my goal in every social situation or interaction is to be the poorest, dumbest guy in the room. Everywhere I go, I want to be the poorest, dumbest guy in the room. Because who am I then surrounded by? People that can teach me stuff, people I can learn from. It's only in this environment where I'm the celebrity, because I'm on the stage. Do you guys want to know how to become a celebrity? Get a book of business, invite them all to a hotel, put up a stage, get yourself a microphone, you're the celebrity. It's not that difficult, okay? You guys are here because you want me to teach you something. When I go to an event and there's somebody else on stage, it's because I want them to teach me something. Why aren't you on stage? You ever thought about that? Why aren't you the teacher? Why aren't you the guru? You should be. Knowledge? You want to know how to get knowledge to be a guru? You ready for this? Lose millions and millions of dollars. That's how you become a guru. If you said no to 3 more of those questions, you need to change your position. Being teachable does not require smarts or degree. Listen more than you talk. Be humble. Don't allow pride to cloud your ability to learn. And accept what you're doing right now may not be working. So to get past the roadblocks, 10 tips to goal setting. And I'm going to speed along here before you all melt into the abyss. Like Olaf. Number 1, you got to own the goal. What are you guys going to accomplish in 2015? Now, you're fortunate to be here in this room only 16 days into the year, because you still have a whole bunch of time, about 340 days left, to do a lot of pretty amazing and incredible things. What are you going to do? Now, do not give me goals that are out of line. My goal for you is to simply replace the income you're currently getting at your job. So if you're making $50,000 a year at your job, my goal for you for 2015 would be to make $50,000 in real estate. My goal for you in 2016 would be to make $100,000 in real estate. My goal for you in 2017 would be to make $200,000 in real estate and quit your job. I will never encourage that you quit your job immediately, because until you've properly structured your investment portfolio and are drawing a salary so that there's no break in income so that you can still qualify for conventional and traditional bank financing, would I ever encourage you to quit your job. It makes no sense. You become a huge financial liability to your corporation when you're unemployed. Don't quit your job. Now, the great thing is, for many of you, that will motivate you more than anything else. Because I'm telling you right now, you cannot quit until you succeed. And that means you make as much money in this area as you currently make in this area. Do you guys know what your highest and best use of time for revenue is right now? Do you know? What, Charles? Huh?
Set a goal.
Set a goal, okay. The highest and best use of your time for making money right now is what you're currently doing. Because it's the thing that paid for you to be here. Now, if that was real estate, great. Go make more money in real estate. If it was your job, you better stay there until we have replicated that income in another area. It's irresponsible to do anything else. Your goals need to reflect your values. If the foundation of your goal is not rooted in your values, there's nothing to nurture, help it grow, and believe that you can accomplish the goal. Now, let me just reiterate this, because I heard some rumblings. I started investing in real estate when I worked at the grocery store. I worked from 3 to midnight. That was my shift at the grocery store, and I went to community college from 8 in the morning until noon. I worked on the property between noon and 3, and I would usually show up all dirty at the grocery store because I didn't care. And I would be over there on weekends swinging hammers and hanging sheetrock. So don't tell me you can't do it while you're working your full-time job. You are going to have to make some concessions. You're going to have to miss some birthdays, and you're going to have to miss some reunions, and you're going to have to miss some gatherings. Making money, guys, as an entrepreneur is a huge sacrifice. Are you willing to make it? Yes. Okay? Then you're not going to be able to be at all the parties. Envision the outcome, write your goals down, believe that you can accomplish them, and share the goal with 100 people. So, do you guys know what your goals are for 2015? I want you to write down your top 3 goals for 2015 right now on your piece of paper in front of you. Your top 3 goals. Please write them down. Top 3 goals for 2015. Camille. Top 3 goals for 2015. And when you have completed the top 3 goals for 2015, please look up at me and smile. These can be deal-based, revenue-based, faith-based, health-based. Doesn't matter. Top 3. One of my goals for 2015 is to eat more chicken. Huh?
Yeah, is it measurable?
Eating more chicken? Yeah, I have a baseline established. Yeah. Once a week is the current baseline. I'm going to ratchet that up to 2. I'm looking for a 100% increase on my chicken consumption. Very exciting.
So buy the Tyson chicken farm.
Buy the Tyson? No.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of
Thank you,
jeans
Dan.
that
I like
fit just
that.
right. And the radio.
All right, who's got it? How many of you have at least one? Let me see your hands if you got one goal written down. How many of you got 2? Okay, so for those of you that are done right now, actually, you got enough. I want everybody to right now find a stranger, and I want you to tell them your goals, your 3 goals. Find a stranger right now, and I want you to tell at least 3 people what you're going to accomplish in 2015. At least 3. Turn, circulate, move, get the blood circulating. Somebody you did not come with, find them. It's okay if you got to get up out of your chair. Dan, let's get some chicken fried music going here.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio. I like to see sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes. Feel the touch of a precious child. And know a mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most? Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind. This I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me. Raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio world. But like to see sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love.
Bring it up. Not yet. Just have it ready. Keep it up. Not yet. Not yet. Just up.
I thank God for my life.
Yeah, she had the
For
scarf
the
on
stars
yesterday.
and stripes, may freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio world. I like to see the sunrise. When banks say no, call Coco. Investors
Take your seats. Come on back.
call Coco. Yes, everybody knows about Coco. When banks say no, you call Coco. Call Coco. Call Coco. Call Coco. Call Coco.
Okay, let's take our seats. Get back to your original chairs. Turn your chairs facing back here, please.
When banks say no, you call Coco.
Hey, do you know the line dance, Kevin? Camille, do you line dance? Do you line dance? Okay, Nathan, Mike, turn the chairs around. Okay, everybody, turn your chairs. I need your attention back up here, please. Anthony, take a seat. Take a seat. All right, Francis, welcome back. Okay, were you guys impressed with other people's goals? Do you now suddenly think that your goals are crap? Okay, please write this down somewhere. The mother of disenchantment is comparison. The mother of disenchantment is comparison.
And why did you make us compare?
I didn't make you compare, I made you share. Because you now will accomplish your goals more to save face in front of your peers than because you desire to achieve the goal. Did you know that?
No.
How many of you read Predictably Irrational? Dan Ariely? You should. It's one of my favorite books. Dan Ariely, Predictably Irrational. We as human beings are conditioned to do more to save face than we are to make money. So what you just did is you created a social contract with every person you breathed your goal into, and subconsciously you will achieve the goal to avoid disappointing them, even though you just met them yesterday. Isn't that fascinating? So you need to be telling your goals to hundreds of people. They should be displayed on your wall, in your office, in your bedroom, on the mirror, wherever you go, they should be seen. Because see, what we typically don't do is we don't put up our goals because we don't want anybody to know, because heaven forbid we didn't achieve them. Then we'd lose face. That'd be horrible. So we don't tell anybody. Now, this just got done today. I'll show you guys a picture tomorrow. In my office, I now have all of my staff's goals that have been turned into wallpaper in my office. Because my goal for 2015 is to help all of them achieve their goals. That's what I'm going to be focused on for 2015. Now, I'd also like to make your goals my goals for 2015 as well. So, this is how we fast track your success, okay? You guys have 30, 60, 90-day goals, of which you're going to hire a consultant. You're going to listen, learn, and ask questions. You're going to rinse and repeat. You're constantly going to check your progress, and you're going to follow your consultant's direction. Now, one of my goals for our company is to lend over $100 million this year. That's one of my goals for our company, is to do $100 million in loans. To do that, I'm going to need a lot more of you borrowing a lot more money. So let me ask you this question. Would any of you like to have 100% financing on all of your deals? Would all of you like to have as much money as you need for renovation and repair on all of your qualifying deals? Would all of you like to have the best pricing on all of your qualifying deals? Okay. Now, we don't do that for the general public, but we do it for people that are in our consulting program. Okay? So here you see 100% financing on qualifying deals. This includes your purchase price, your closing costs, and your rehab. Now, we do this because the greatest prohibitor of risk in lending is this right here. Okay? Francis, do you want to see me drop my default rate by 20%?
Say again?
Drop my default rate on my portfolio by 20%?
Yeah.
I just did. Kevin, you want to see me drop my default rate 20%?
Absolutely.
Just did. Okay? You want to see my default rate drop?
Sure, absolutely.
Good. You want to drop my default rate? Okay, good. You want to drop it? Okay. Now, what am I doing here? Okay. We are making contact. You see, the thing I have a problem or an issue with all these websites and social media is they've removed what real estate is. It is a people-to-people, person-to-person, toe-to-toe, knee-to-knee contact sport. And we've tried to remove that from the equation. So we've got all these sites where we never have to talk to anybody, we never have to look at anybody, we never even meet people. If you want my opinion on why the Great Recession occurred, because nobody had any issue walking away from some faceless, nameless bank. Robo-signing, anyone? Would that have really happened if the banker that you signed with was the one writing you the check? Or would you have gone out of your way to make it right with that individual? You would have gone out of your way to make it right. But see, we've removed the human interaction of this business, and it's not right. Now, I'm not going to fix it, I'm not going to destroy technology and advancement with my own opinions, but what I am telling you is, as a lender, I'm going to reduce my default rate by being knee-to-knee, toe-to-toe with every single one of you. Now, with our consulting programs, do you guys have those brochures back there? With our consulting programs, these are knee-to-knee, toe-to-toe, because there's several different versions of them. The best one, in my opinion, that you can participate is where you work personally with Regan for 3 days. Have you guys learned anything from Regan this last 2 days? A little bit, okay? Regan is incredibly successful in real estate investment. He's done amazing things, and if you want to work with him for 3 days, you can. Now, if you want to work with me for 3 days, I also am available. I cost $150,000. Do you know why you pay me $150,000 for 3 days? Because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I used to charge $15,000, then it was $25,000, and people kept paying it, and then I increased my price to $35,000, and people kept paying it, so I raised my price to $50,000, and people kept paying it, so I said, enough! It's $150,000. And you want to know what's going to happen if anybody in their crazy, desperate mind pays that? Price is going up. Okay? So, what I did is I went to Regan. I said, Regan, can you help me? I said, I don't want to charge these guys $150,000. I can't possibly go. I said, I know your time is incredibly valuable too. I said, but Regan, if you'll go out and work with these people, and if you'll tell me that it's an amazing and incredible deal, and you too, Regan, will sign off on the deal, I will lend 100% financing and give you all the money you need for fix-up and repair. If Regan signs off on the deal. Because I trust Regan as much as I trust me. If I say it's a good deal, we fund. If Regan says it's a good deal, we fund. That's how much I respect and trust Regan's discernment about your deals. The other reason we can do this is that Regan actually flies out to your home. And he's going to spend 3 days working with you in your market. And he's going to do exactly what I would do. I'd show up at your house and I'd look at your place of business and I'd look at your desk and your structure and your organization. And I'd say, show me what you're going to do for the next 8 hours. And then we're going to be able to tweak it and fix it and change it and alter it, because my goal is $100 million lent. I need you guys borrowing more money. The reason you haven't is the deals you're bringing us are not great deals, because you're pursuing all of the old ways. You're calling realtors, and you're getting set up on auto hot sheets, and you're not doing any direct mail, and you're not making any outbound phone calls, and you're not physically going out and meeting with people. We're going to fix all of that for your business. You will leave with a 12-week step-by-step plan of everything you got to do for the next 90 days. For those of you that invest and work with Regan, we give you a $100,000 guarantee. So you're going to invest $50,000 to work with Regan. Is that a pretty good rate of return if you're guaranteed to make $100,000? Now, do you suppose the guarantee comes with some clauses? Yes. Now, you can read the fine print, or I'll just give you the main clause. You must do everything we tell you to do. No debate. Are you willing to do that? How many of you right now, if I said, bring me a $5 bill, and I'll give you a $10 bill, would race up here and crawl over each other to trade me money? Okay? This is no different. You bring me $50,000, and for the next 12 months, we will produce for you $100,000. But you're going to do it our way, and you're going to use our money, and you're going to do it to our specifications. No debate. When you do that, you'll make $100,000 minimum guaranteed. In writing. Now, is that pretty crazy? No? Because the onus is really on you. I know the rule of 56 works, guys. We've been using that for the last 10 years. And everybody who follows it makes money. The problem is that many of you won't follow it. You'll start out well, but then you slowly do less and less and less, and before you know it, you're right back to where you used to be. Doing the same old things, the same old bad habits, and we will knock that out of you. Because if you're going to take up 3 days of Regan time, you better be borrowing at least $1 million from us this year. Because if you're not going to borrow $1 million on great deals, then I don't want to send Regan. His time is far too valuable to have him out there with you guys if you're not going to produce millions of dollars in loan revenue. Now, we also know that $50,000 is a pretty sizable sum, which is why we also have a lesser package, which is $24,997. Now, it's not lesser because the value isn't there. It's simply lesser because we have guys that will go out and work with you that aren't me or Regan. Regan and I are very expensive. We have guys that for $24,997, they will come out and work with you. These are the Finches. Can I get a microphone? They said, this 3 days one-on-one experience more than exceeded our expectations. We have gained more wisdom, knowledge, and confidence in all aspects of the real estate world. Our mentor was a treasure chest of wealth. We're now able to structure our days to be more productive. We're able to find and structure deals that will help us make money and reach our goals. Do you guys remember saying that? Yeah. Stand up, give Elder Oris and Emmanuel a round of applause. Tell us about your 3 days.
Well, our 3 days were great. We had Dana Claft, who came out and spent 3 fantastic days with us. He took us out looking in different neighborhoods for ugly houses, which I was upset with, but then I found out that that's where you get the most money, is when you go out and look for ugly houses. So we did that, got caught up in, what was it? Yeah, trying to look at all the different houses and getting into them and stuff, and trying to do a lot of deals in different neighborhoods. But we did do exactly what he said. We started doing the 50, 25, 25, 25. We just slacked off a little bit during the holidays.
And I blasted you for it too, didn't I?
You sure did.
Yeah.
But I made up for it because I sent out 100 letters right after that.
Okay, good.
So, and then we do have some deals on the table, but due to the holiday time, everybody was eating and drinking and having fun. So we're back on it.
All right, good. Anything you want to add, Emmanuel?
Yes, Lee, I have something here for you as being our mentor. and our great teacher. This here is a book. It's called The Instant Millionaire. And in this here, Lee, since, you know, real estate is a journey. Being rich is a journey. And Lee, the story has told me, you're a journey.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks, Emmanuel. That's awesome. And thank you, Eldoris. Now, in full disclosure, they tried to give me this book last night at the VIP cocktail party, but I said, no, I want you to wait. I didn't know you were going to do it now, but that's cool.
She needs the mic.
Because I wanted to use this as an example to show you that those who buy me books, I like more.
And another thing I was going to say is his wife came with him, which I really appreciated that, because she gave me a lot of ideas that I can do to help him. And she specifically told me some things that she did for her husband that helped him. She was like the virtual assistant that came with him. So he calls us. We run all of our deals by him. If it hadn't have been for Dana, we probably would have lost a lot of money by now, because he'd just say exactly what Lee said. How much you going to make? How much is this? He thought they were good deals, and Dana would say, well, let's look at it and see. So we have really saved time and money just listening to our mentor. And we continue to listen to him. And I advise you, when you get a mentor, listen to them and do exactly what you say. And if you're married to someone like Emmanuel, you have to punch him. Get him in there. Even though he tells me, oh no, I get on him because I say, remember what Lee said? So he's sick of me talking about Lee Arnold, but I throw it up in his face all the time.
That's awesome. This is Jay Pollard. He said the first day was very informative. Got a lot of education I didn't know that's going to help me actually through your system. I actually see myself being more and more successful than I initially envisioned for myself. I would recommend this training for anybody and everybody. Now, one-on-one with Lee's experts, you guys can see right there in the flyer what all is included. Again, these come with 100% financing, money for fix-up and repair, and all of your closing costs wrapped in. The reason we do that is we know that you guys, or many of you, are giving us your last dime. You know, I've actually had people pay $25,000 and it was the last dollar they had in savings or checking, or it literally put them in a bad spot. Now, some of you would think, Lee, that's horrible. How could you take somebody's last dime? Here's why. For many of you, your money is safer in my pocket than it is in your pocket. Would you believe that? So I have no qualms against taking your last dollar, because it's going to force you to take action. I have more success with people who literally give up their life savings to get into this program than for somebody who can easily just stroke a check. Because if that's not a lot of money to you, good for you. You've done some good things in life. But if it's not a lot of money to you, it's not going to matter. And if $25,000 is not a lot of money to you, I'll raise the price if that'll help you. You just let us know. We'll charge you more. Okay? All we want is for you to be successful. This is Carrie Bowers and Diana Larson. They said this is the Yale of investing schools. Carl Miller said very eye-opening. You're helping to actually do this system. We're very happy. Where's the microphone? Camille? Mike, you're on deck. Microphone's coming around. It was a lot of fun. It was exciting. It's been exhausting, but we don't feel the exhaustion. We're motivated. Recommended over and above any other that is out there in the market. There are some that are more publicized, but I wouldn't put my trust in them. Now, many of you have been to a real estate investment workshop where they're offering you financing. Anybody been to one of those? How many of you found our company because of that company? Anybody? Interesting. We are the back-end financing for most of the education companies that are out there, because they call us and say, hey, offering financing to your students is a good idea. Will you offer financing to our students? Sure. And then they show up at our events. Okay? We are the premier education finance company out there, because I recognized years ago it doesn't make any sense just to teach you how to do this. I'm actually going to put our money behind you to make you successful. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Go ahead and stand up for me.
I don't know where to start. Current house I have on the market now, I purchased with 100% financing. I got it locked in a deal with Tyson, came out to it. He was my mentor. Found a house through direct marketing or direct mail. It was a probate house. A lady passed away in it, and it was inherited to the daughter. Daughter lived out of state and wanted to get rid of the house. So I was able to purchase it through her. Tyson helped negotiate it, went through the house. And then while we were there, he helped me actually walk with another wholesaler. I was going to attempt to wholesale it, but couldn't find any wholesalers, so I went ahead and just rehabbed it, and it's now on the market. And hopefully, God willing, it'll sell soon, and I'll clear 40 grand on the deal.
Wow. 40 grand. Give her a round of applause. Now, you were telling me a story last night about the credit card challenge when you were with us out in San Diego. Tell us
Yes,
that
sir.
story.
I was the winner of the credit card challenge last time, and so I went through and did exactly like the script said, and I got $10,000 raised on each of my 3 credit cards, so it gave me a total of 30 grand. And I used that 30 grand to essentially fund the rehab because my house didn't qualify for the rehab. It says for qualifying deals, so I didn't qualify for funding for the rehab. But I just financed it on the money that essentially was able to get through doing the free dessert.
Good.
So.
How are you guys coming on the free dessert challenge, by the way?
I don't think we've talked about it in this class yet.
They're going to show us the dessert.
They were waiting on you.
Okay. How are you guys coming on the credit card challenge?
Nothing yet.
All right, we are awarding. We're not going to go there yet, but we're going to award the $3,000 prize Sunday morning after church. So you've got tonight and tomorrow, and statistically speaking, you will have your greatest success Friday night after 10 p.m. for the credit card challenge. Why? Because nobody's calling to increase their credit line. So you get to talk to people that are sitting there bored out of their minds, twiddling their thumbs in a cubicle waiting for somebody to call. So tonight is the night for success in raising your credit card balances. Anything else you want to add, Mike?
I just, I really had a great time. I've been to a couple other seminars and done a lot of reading, and it's been kind of just a slow start. But having Tyson come out and spend 3 days with me made a huge difference. And the guy has a lot of energy, so we kind of had a bet going before we started on who could keep up with each other the most. So we both wore each other out over 3 days, and we got up early and we worked all the way to midnight every night, and we went and saw a bunch of houses and went into a bunch of houses. He picked up my my leads list and started yelling at me. He's like, "Why haven't you called these people?" I'm like, yeah. So he picked up my phone and started calling my leads, and within that we got 2 deals. We got 2 houses under contract just in a couple minutes sitting in my office calling. He just put on speakers like, "I'm Mike Fleming's assistant. I'm looking at these houses." And he just negotiated this guy, picked up a house for $6,500. But unfortunately, that one had a lot of clouded title, and we didn't actually close on it. But we got under contract and worked through it. But it was just amazing to see all that process get through. So.
Happens quick, doesn't it?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't need to take a ton of time, guys. And what leads was Tyson dialing?
Dialing the leads that I had from my direct marketing plan.
That were sitting on your desk?
That were literally he's like, "What's all these sticky notes around your computer?" Like, "Oh, those are leads that I haven't had time to call yet." Well, so why not? I'm like, I don't know. One excuse after, I was like, "Shut up, Mike. Here we go." You just grab my phone and start running down on them. So, like you said, 2 hours a day, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock Saturdays.
Yep.
So I sit at my desk and make phone calls. So.
Good. Give her a round of applause. That's awesome. All right. Now, for those of you that don't or can't come up with 25 grand, before you rule yourself out, I want to remind you of something that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said, poor people say, "I can't." Rich people say, "How can I?" Right? So some of you are looking at the $25,000 or the $50,000 price tag and you're saying, "I can't." Well, you're going to continue to be poor if that's what you're thinking. The wealthy individual will say, "How can I?" Now, to prove this point, as you guys know, I signed up for Dan Kennedy's Titanium, and it was a whole bunch of money. But just for you guys, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do what I teach my clients to do. So I went to the lending club, and I applied for a loan, and I got a loan. And I took that loan, and I paid for Dan Kennedy's Titanium Mastermind program.
How much that cost?
29.99% is what I'm paying for that money.
No, how much it costs?
Today for 10% for $35,000.
Through Lending Club, you got approved for $35,000 at 10%.
Now we're on the bus.
Seriously? Give him another round of applause. That's awesome. What'd you say?
You guys think I'm playing on my phone?
Anybody else got in a Lending Club or applied for a loan? All right, just so you know, even if you're approved for the loan, you don't have to accept the funds, all right? So I'm going to challenge each and every one of you tonight to go online and apply. It doesn't hurt anything. Now, I will caution you on one thing. If you are either looking to qualify for a traditional conventional mortgage loan, or if you're buying a car or a big ticket item where you'll be using your credit within the next 90 days, do not do it. okay? It is a hard hit on your credit report, and you're allowed 3 hard hits every 6 months without your score being affected. So if you know that you're going to be buying a car or a house, please do not do the activity because it will drop your score, and I don't want it to affect something else that you're working on, all right? The same is true with the credit card challenge. If you call your credit card companies and they tell you, well, we can't give you an increase without doing a hard hit, you have to know whether or not to say yes. If you don't foresee any large ticket items in the next 90 days, then say yes. You're not doing anything else with your credit anyway. You may as well increase your lines. Doesn't mean you have to use them here to buy our programs or anything else, but you will need capital to buy houses and fix and flip. If you need money for fix up and rehab, you'll have it at your discretion or your disposal. Don't wait until you need money to go looking for it. It's been said that a banker is somebody who will give you an umbrella when it's sun shining and pull it away when it's raining. So you don't go looking for cash when you need it. You look for cash when you don't, because then you're not desperate, okay? So I encourage you to all try it. I mean, $35,000 at 10% interest. That's cheaper than Kogo cash, isn't it? Yeah. Use it. Absolutely. Now, when did they, hey Mike, when did they say they're going to fund it up?
I'm sorry? It's a 60-month term.
Okay. When are they going to fund it up?
I'm sorry, fund it up?
Meaning you've been approved for the loan, now they got to go raise it.
Oh, they said they have it. They'll put it in my bank on Wednesday.
Okay. And that was today? Okay. The biggest critique with Lending Club right now is that institutions are now funding all the paper. I actually had a client that sent the Lending Club $2 million and they sent it back because they couldn't deploy it. They got so much money being thrown at them because everybody's trying to get their money into these peer-to-peer loans. It's pretty exciting what's going on. You try Lending Club, try Prosper too is another one. If you guys want to get credit lines or credit facilities available to you. Now, if $25,000 gets you access to 100% financing and money for fix it and repair, is it worth the investment? If $50,000 gets you a 100% guaranteed return, is that worth the investment? So I want you to think about that here tonight when you guys get home. This is John and Sue McDonald. In the 3 days with Regan, I learned a lot. Regan, how long ago were you out there with John and Sue?
About 3 years ago.
Okay, so 3 years ago, we actually pulled, do you remember the report that Gary pulled on how much we've lent them? We've lent them $1.8 million since Regan was out there, and they've increased their net worth by over $1.1 million in the 3 years since Regan was out there. The latest loan that we closed for them was a commercial building, and it had a Subway franchise tied to it. Do you remember that story? Can you tell us about that real quick?
I don't remember I don't remember all of the tenants, but it had a running Subway with a long-term lease. So they didn't buy the Subway franchise, but they bought the space that had a long-term lease in it. It had 3 other businesses in the office space involved. It also had, I believe, 2 different living units and something else, a parking lot. In any case, they used our money to buy it. They turned around and refinanced it, had 0 cash out of pocket, and they cash flow over $2,000 a month.
That's awesome. Yeah, and John is a retired firefighter. Very cool guy. Him and his wife are both really cool. Thanks, Regan. The Stukmans, with our mentor's help, we put in 8 offers, found a realtor and a title company. She's been great, and we've really enjoyed her company and expertise. In the last 12 weeks alone, we acquired 2 properties and also lent money with Secured Investment Corp. So again, guys, remember yesterday I talked about the circle of wealth? Our goal for you is to lend you as much money as you need to buy as many properties as you want to buy to make as much cash as you can possibly ever make, in hopes that you will come back and lend it to our new clients coming through the system. So it's the circle of wealth. There is no end to our desired involvement with you. We want to be working with you for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. However long you're around, we'd like to be working with you in some capacity. You know, we used to tell the story of a 22-year-old kid walking into one of our facilities, getting the education he needed to invest in real estate, getting the capital he or she needed to invest in real estate, and doing that for 10 years, making themselves $1 million cash. By the time they're 35, they're making $50,000 to $60,000 a year on their interest earned from loans through Kogo on just the $1 million they made in real estate. Is that a cool plan? You don't have to be a 22-year-old kid to do it, guys. You can do it right now. You can start today, but you got to let us help you. Daniel LaSalle said we got our money's worth just in the first day. The networking of it was fantastic. We were definitely blessed and we're motivated. Our inner circle helps you overcome doubt, conquer analysis paralysis, get over naysayers, develop the ability, arm your business, give your business distinction, stop operating on outdated, obsolete models. Will any of this be helpful for you guys? Yes. Okay, so those of you that are the praying believer type, I want you to go back to your room or your hotel or wherever you're staying tonight. And I seriously, guys, I want you to pray about this. This is not for everybody. And if you don't feel you're being led in this direction, don't do it. For those of you non-believer types, I want you to put it out into the universe and see what the universe says back. Okay? Either way, do not do this begrudgingly or like you feel like you're being forced to do this. Do this because you know it's the absolute right decision for you and your business. We want to help you succeed. And to do that, we need you to help us succeed. And that means we need to lend you hundreds of millions of dollars. Will we lend you money on bad deals? No. If we're lending you money, it's because we believe it's a good deal and you're going to make money. All right? Now, to close here, we're going to end the way we end our staff meetings. I need everybody to stand up with me. I need everybody to stand up. And this will be a good posture for you because half of you are going to dart to the restroom as soon as we're done. I know you've been sitting a while. I can see some of your eyeballs floating. That's interesting. Repeat after me as loud as you possibly can. I will do, what I ought to do, when I ought to do it. No debate. And everything I do will be income producing. Give yourselves a round of applause, guys. You had a great day.